right, so bone health is an epidemic that nobody's talking about right now, okay? Our bones are weaker than they've ever been at a younger age than they've ever been, right? It used to be at the age of, well, right now at the age of 30, you start to lose 1% of your bone density or your bone mass every year. So if you played like we all did growing up and had a lot of compression and jumping off monkey bars and doing all these things, you built really strong bones that then could lose 1% of the density over the course of a lifetime and you would be okay. The issue we're facing now is children don't play anymore. So the 20, 25, 30-year-olds have a lower threshold than we did. So maybe our threshold was way up here and we would lose 1%. Their threshold's here and they're losing 1%, and we're seeing 25, 30, and 40-year-olds with osteopenia and osteoporosis now, which we haven't seen before. So we need a solution for that, which we'll get to. But even in general health, because of that, the nature of that decline and it happening faster due to toxins in the environment and all these other things and us not moving the way we used to, the risk of fracture is it's an impending doom on everybody. So women, once you've hit osteoporosis, is a 50% chance you're going to suffer an osteoporotic fracture. So if you go to lunch with one of your girlfriends, one of you is most likely going to suffer an osteoporotic fracture. Men, it's 1 in 20, or it's 1 in 5 are going to suffer an osteoporotic fracture, just over the age of 50. Those are not great statistics. I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's something like 68% of men after they fracture a hip die within a very short amount of time because of the inability to recover from that. So we had to figure out a way that we can fix this issue in a population that it's starting to happen younger and older simultaneously, right? And nobody wants to talk about it because it's not easy to treat, right? You can't just give somebody a pill and all of a sudden their bone density gets back to where it was before. So what we've developed and what we found is that compression forces are what make the bone stronger. So if you send an astronaut up into outer space and they're in no gravity, they have to have a weight. They put themselves in a harness and do weight-bearing exercise every day where they mimic gravity. Because if they don't, the body's so intelligent that it will start to just get rid of the bone because it doesn't need it anymore. So it's not going to waste energy and time forming new bone if we don't need it. So we had to figure out what that is. So to create enough force to stimulate bone growth, you have to put 4 times your body weight into the bone. So I don't know any people really that are over the age of 50 that can lift 4 times their body weight. I'm sorry, I'll come back over here. That can lift 4 times their body weight in a deadlift or a squat or a bench press. That's a lot, right? So we had to figure out a way that we were going to be able to do that and make that manifest in the body. So how it works is, if I were to take your bone here and here and push both sides, that's a compressive force. That compressive force sends signals back to the brain, we are under duress, get stronger. And not the muscles, the bone itself. So what happens is the brain and the spine send signals out and have nerves that go into the bone. And when that compression happens, the nerves get signaled and they tell the bone, lay new bone, lay new bone, lay new bone. And so the inside of the bone becomes stronger. Part of what we miss when we diagnose osteoporosis or osteopenia right now is the DEXA scan. All it does is scans for the outside of the bone. It doesn't tell you what's happening inside. And the inside is like a bunch of little scaffolding. If the outside's affected, this has been affected for a very long time. So this is why the REMS echo light scan and the things that we use, it tells us the quality and quantity of the bone. It tells us what the outside and the inside are doing in a non-invasive manner with an ultrasound. So we can predict your risk of fracture based off of how the inside and the outside of the bone are functioning. Does that make sense? So what we want to do is we want to signal the inside to start to lay new bone so that it can create a stronger environment. And we know that that's possible now. okay? But we have to put that right amount of force in. So what we do with the biodensity is we put you in 4 specific movements. We put you in essence, a deadlift, a press, a leg press, and a pull. And what that does is it hits all the major systems of the body, and it stresses it in the like manner that it needs to start to lay new bone in all the major areas that start to diminish, specifically the hips and the spine, okay? Because those are where we tend to start to lose our bone density first, all right? We want to do that, and we only have to do it for a short amount of time. 5 seconds of maximal compressive force will stimulate the brain and spine and tell it to start to lay new bone 1 time a week. We don't have to do it all the time. It doesn't have to be crazy intense exercises all the time. In fact, that's not necessarily the way to do it. But that compressive force is why gymnasts have the strongest bones, because they come down from their thing and boom, they have to take on all that force. That compressive force tells the bone to get stronger. Does that make sense? Now, why this system works so well is anybody from the age of 12 to 150 can use it, because it's based off of your maximal effort. So if my daughter got on there and did a leg press as hard as she could, her leg press is her max output. If I got on there and did my leg press, it's my max output. The beauty of this is, yes, it's going to train the bone, and yes, it's going to remineralize the bone, but it's actually going to start to train the nervous system to handle maximal force and maximal tension, okay? What that means is, oftentimes, if we go to the gym and we want to exercise, we don't get anywhere near maximal effort. To train the nervous system, brain and spine, and to train the muscles, we want to push them to their limit. But we can't sustain that all the time. Does that make sense? It's very rare that you can pick up a 20-pound dumbbell and create enough force to get the body to its neurological limit. When you are on this machine and you are pushing against 2 areas that do not move, you're creating that compressive force and allowing maximal tension to be put on the body. The beautiful part of this is when you're in the positions that you're in, there's nothing external acting upon you. Meaning that if I go and I try and deadlift 500 pounds, I have an external force that I'm trying to cater to, right? That puts me in a vulnerable position. When I'm doing all of the effort in an isometric contraction where nothing's moving, my body will shut down before injury can occur. So you can't squeeze your hand hard enough to break it. You can't squeeze your hand hard enough to hurt yourself. It's the exact same thing. So we can take you to the brink of training up until the day you die without hurting you. That's unbelievable and unheard of now, right? And we can do it all within 10 to 5 minutes, because the body doesn't need hours and hours of training to stimulate the nervous system and to stimulate the bone growth, which is what the goal is. And now, you could be a stay-at-home mom, you could be a professional athlete, both benefit from this. Because what it's going to do is it's going to train your output. So 5 seconds of output is what we want. What our device is going to do is it's going to range how you function throughout that 5 seconds of output. So let's say we're doing a leg press and you go as hard as you can for 5 seconds. You may only have 1 second of maximal effort and your system drops down. That means your nervous system was able to produce for 1 second, let's just say 1,000 pounds of force. But then the next 4 seconds, maybe it was only able to produce 250 pounds of force. So really, you're nowhere near optimal capacity of how much force you can produce and sustain. The more you do this, the more the body gets used to that maximal force of 1,000 pounds, and now it can start to hold it for 3, 4, or 5 seconds. Now that affects the entire being, and all of a sudden picking up children, walking around, doing all these things, playing with grandchildren, those things become effortless because you're so used to pushing yourself in this manner. This is how the best athletes in the world train, but they haven't figured out how to do it for the lay person. That's what we did. So not only are we able to keep you young and your muscles young for a long period of time, now we can keep your bones young and healthy too. The average age, I believe in the study we did, was 52 years old was the average age. And over the course of 1 year of doing this machine 1 day a week, the average strength increased by 123%. It's amazing. The rest of the world is decreasing at a rapid rate, and they're increasing by 123% while strengthening the bones.
So twice?
Once a week. Right. Yeah. I mean, it increased 123. Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, I don't know anything else on the planet that can do that, right? And so when you can do this, and the beauty of it is we're doing it 1 day a week for 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. Who doesn't have 5 to 10 minutes to pop in, do the exercise, and out the door and know that they're changing the quality of their bones? I don't know if you guys have had any of the echo light scans or anything to know where you're at with osteo. Okay, where were you at?
100% on my spine.
Okay.
And I'm 34.
Yeah. So this is what I mean.
And my hip was 2%.
Yeah.
Decrease.
Yeah.
Otherwise it was.
Yep. Yeah. So this, you're a trainer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I've been on the power plate like for 10 years. I've been chiropractic care since I was like 18.
Yep. So
I've trained gymnastics, ballet.
So what happens? Yeah. So what happens is it's very hard to load the spine without injury.
Right. So I have herniations.
Yep.
So I was surprised that I was at 100%.
Yep.
Like, wow. My bones are at least in a good shape.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, but that's the beauty of this is you can take all of those things and still load the spine because you will not cause injury if you do it the right way.
Yeah.
Again, your background makes sense.
Right.
Of why.
That's what he said. He's like, just keep doing whatever you're doing.
100%. Yeah, the background makes sense. Most people don't have your background, right? Doing the gymnasts and all the other things.
Yeah, and I've been in the gym since I was 18 to weight training.
Right, exactly.
Nonstop.
Yeah, and that matters. The more you do that, and that's what I mean by the younger generation's not doing that. They're playing video games. They're not moving. They're not playing. They're not outside in the summertime playing kickball and all the things we used to do that actually added to our ability to create strong bones. Yeah. Any questions with any of this? I know it's a Friday night, so I'm going to keep it a little short. I mean, I can go forever. Do we have any questions on how it works or more about the bone health or anything like that?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've always been very tiny. So my bone is very thin. So does it mean that I'm prone to osteoporosis more than other people? No.
Size of you or your bone is not an indicator of how strong or dense the bone is. Does that make sense? The strength and the density of the bone are going to be determined by how much pressure you've put on them over a lifetime and how resilient they've become. Okay, so there's very, very, very small people that have very, very, very strong bones. In fact, most gymnasts are not very big, right? But they got very, very strong bones because of that. And so, no, that's not going to predispose you to that in that manner.
Another question.
Yeah.
So on one side we have sport for health, bone health, and another side is nutrition. So what vitamins and specific nutrition do we need to be healthy?
Oh boy. First, it's a loaded question, and I'm going to divert and say that my area of expertise is brain and spinal cord and their function, so I don't want to give dietary or nutrition advice. That I'm going to say. With that, I do know that NAD+, I don't know if you've heard of that, NAD+, okay. Without getting crazy into it, there's one NAD+, and I work with the company now, on the market that's the only one ever been proven to actually enter into the cell. None of the other ones have been shown to enter the cell. Most of them don't even have NAD in it. So while NAD is amazing, the quality of the one you take is going to determine if it works or doesn't work. We can have a whole conversation, you and I, separately about why this is next to penicillin is one of the most biggest breakthroughs in medical history, this specific company. It's extraordinary what they're doing. NAD will fuel, the cells that build the bone, it will fuel that ability, and it will regulate the ones that break down the bone. So it will bring harmony back to that system, okay? So for me, And that's just touching one of the things that NAD plus can do when you have the right one, right? It can affect over 80 biomarkers, 12 markers of aging. It can turn 9 of them on in the right way. I mean, it's extraordinary. That's where I reside because I know that it can do that. When it comes to diet, you have carnivores that are thriving and you have vegetarians that claim they're thriving. You know, so where we're at with that, I'm not a dietitian and don't claim to know that. I'm certain that drinking milk is not going to be the answer to your osteoporosis, though. that I know, you know. But nothing trumps training. It reigns supreme because you will stimulate the brain and spine, which there's 11 systems in your body. Brain and spine are system 1. The other 10 fall under it. If brain and spine don't do what they're supposed to do, the other ones aren't either. So if that system's healthy and clear, and then you stress the body and stress the muscles and or the bones in the right way, they're going to send the signal to lay new bone down. Eat whatever you want. If you train right, you can eat whatever you want. Uh-oh, I'm going to get canceled on Instagram for that one. Ruining too many people's businesses.
Another question.
Yeah.
So when there is pressure on the bone, you said nerve is involved.
Yes.
And what hormones? And does hormone involved, any type of hormone involved in this process?
Boy. All right. These are good questions. Your body makes 37 quadrillion chemicals every single second, which is controlled by brain and yeah, right? Like if we were in control of that, you'd be dead instantaneously. Like you're not going to be able to do it, right? That's what the brain and spine does. So yes, hormones are involved in that entire process. Testosterone, all of those things are definitely linked to the bone. That's why I think it's always good to consult somebody who is, if you are osteopenia or osteoporosis, it's very good to consult a doctor that is their area of expertise, you know? And we can talk more about who I would recommend, you know, after. So yes, hormones play a role. We also know that your hormones are massively dictated by how much sunshine you get, what your stress levels are, how much training you do. So again, back to the basics. Are you sleeping? Controls your hormones. Is your brain and spinal cord clear? Controls your hormones. Are you getting sunshine? Controls your hormones. Are you training correctly? Controls your hormones, right? They're all free. Food, right? Depending on what you're eating, controls the hormone production. That to me reigns supreme over, hey, I need to take this drug, you know, to stimulate that. Now, if all of those things are in perfect alignment and you still have some issues, let's fine tune them. Does that make, so yes, the short answer is hormones play a role, but are you doing the basics the right way? You know, and simply training in this manner is going to skyrocket the production of those hormones because it has to. If your body starts, if you are running away from a lion or your body has to go into maximal effort, do you think it's not going to recruit more hormones and more production of the good things? Of course it is, right? And we're doing it for such a short amount of time that it's healthy. It becomes unhealthy when we try and run away from a lion every day, all day long because of a stress response. But if we contain it to 5 seconds and then we give the body an entire week to recover, the body knows what it's doing. I like your questions. Yeah. Any other ones? My favorite thing is question and answer. That's how I like to do it. I like to give people the information they want.
What machine is it?
The Biodensity machine. So we have it here. Yeah, and so, yeah, we can show you that on the other side. Yeah. So what she's going to do is whenever we hit start exercise, she's going to push as hard as she can for 5 seconds. Okay, the machine's going to time her, and then when she's done, she's going to rest. It's very important that you breathe while you're pushing. Please do not hold your breath because I don't want anybody to pass out, okay? All right, we're going to hit start exercise. 3, and you don't have to go on 1, but once you start pushing and it goes past, so whenever you're ready, give it everything you got. Push, 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 push. Keep going, relax. Okay, so you can see here, she was able to produce 584 pounds of force. well, if I put 584 pounds on a bench bar, she would not be able to move it, right?
Yeah.
So this is how much our neurological system can actually produce, which is putting that force through the bones, and the bones are clearly at 580 pounds per force saying, hey, we need to get stronger. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. Now, and I think you could have did more. Now we'll do leg press. All right, feet up here for me. All right, so I want your heel in alignment here like this. So go up just a tad bit more up that way. There you go. All right, so the heel's gonna be in alignment there. Just give me a push just to see. Okay, relax. We're gonna come in a little bit more. And give me a push again. Nah, yeah, we gotta go in a lot more. All right, pushing, oh, hang on. All right, now push. There we go. Okay, that's gonna be.
My knees, right?
You feel, but you feel the difference when you're closer to that. I want to go. So the machine will remember your settings. So every time you come in, it'll automatically move this to exactly where your settings are. 3, 2, 1, go for it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Push, 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 push. There you go. So she was able to produce 1,500 pounds of force. Okay. It's impressive. I know guys who can't do that. Yeah.
I'm a trainer.
I know guys who can't do that. Perfect. All right, now we'll do the core pull. So go ahead and put your feet down. You're gonna put them on that bar, and then you're gonna strap in for this one. All right, so now, so you're gonna grab here. I'm gonna bring it in a lot closer to you though. Okay, so this one, the way it's gonna work, your feet are gonna come off of here, and it's like you're trying to crunch up, okay? And you're gonna pull down and try and pull yourself off the chair at the exact same time. So give that a try for me. Yeah, it's gonna be just like that. All right, I'm gonna move it in just a hair closer for you. Whenever you're ready. Pull, 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 pull. There you go. 190 pounds. I know guys that can't even get it to 190, so that's really impressive. All right, now we're gonna do vertical lift. All right, so you come forward, so you're kind of up against that there, because we want this load to go through the spine, so it's not a deadlift. You're not hinging at the hips. You're already maxed out and you're pulling up. Does that make sense? So let's go down. We want it to be like kind of the tips of the fingers if they're beside you right there. Now go ahead and bend down a bit. Yep. All right, now pull up. And do you feel that pull going through the spine? Mm-hmm. Okay, relax. You can come in a little closer on it. There you go. Same thing. When it counts down, you can go whenever you're ready. Don't forget to breathe. I don't want you passing out and falling over. Pull, pull, pull. Hips tight up under you. Pull, 2, 1. There you go.
It's my grip.
Yeah, that's all right. It will make your grip stronger too.
Yeah, but I don't have a good grip.
That's
I
all
never
right.
had a good grip.
This will help.
Yeah, it's okay.
It'll help.
I won't
But
with it.
still, 315 pounds of force. You're not going to walk into the gym and deadlift 315 pounds like that, right? So you're still producing massive amounts of force. And so then we save session, and then it'll give you all the data based off your session. And what it will do, every session you do, it's going to track. So we will see these bars will eventually stack up. When you get to 30, 40, 50 sessions, you're going to see your output increase, 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 and measure you against yourself, which is important because it really doesn't matter what anybody else can do. It's what your system can do. We want to make sure our system's continually improving along the whole way. So we track it through here, and the more she does, the smaller these bars will get, and she'll have multiple bars along the entire thing. This is good. You did good. And so that's it. You come in, you do that, 5 to 10 minutes, and stronger, healthier bones.